I mean, you were in the middle of all this. You were a coach, which means you're sort of between the organization and the players. What do you make of this with Earl Thomas and the way he seems to go out from Seattle with that gesture?
Well, first off, it's brutal. I feel so bad, for Earl because, this guy was an iconic player for that Seattle Seahawks, defense. And, but this is the business of football. And nothing is guaranteed to you as a player, coach, or anybody else. They don't have to give you the money. They don't have to give you the long-term contract. And it's unfortunate, but, when you put your name on that contract, you got to man up and play to that contract, okay? But, did they do them wrong, whatever? No, this team has their future is about we're rebuilding, and our future is going to be without Earl Thomas. Now, he's going to go on. He's going to get over this broken leg. He's going to play somewhere else. I hated the fact he went out like this because this is a guy that's going to be in the Ring of Honor. He's going to be a Hall of Famer for, possibly in the real Hall of Fame, but also in the stadium. So to me, I hate that he went out like this, but make no mistake by it, nobody owes you anything in this league.
I agree with you, Coach, that once you sign your contract, the game and the league doesn't owe you anything. But for a player, since I know that that's a reality, I now have to look out for myself. And he talked about if he felt an injury, if he felt he was sick, that he wasn't going to practice. And unfortunately, sometimes as an athlete, when you speak those things into existence, they end up actually occurring. And we saw it take place for Earl. But unfortunately for him, he's going to be the new poster child of future holdouts. You see what Le'Veon Bell said, I'll continue to be the bad guy for all of us. I'm going to be the torchbearer for guys to now look at and say, you see what happened to Earl, right? He thought he wasn't going to play because they didn't give him the money. He decided to show up anyway, and he got hurt. Look at Le'Veon. He's eventually going to get paid. So I really feel bad for Earl that he had to go out like this.
Yeah, again, Earl Thomas is under contract and being paid to play in these games, and Le'Veon Bell is not. So they're not exactly the same circumstance. What's your final thought here?
My final thought is this. The next collective bargaining thing, there's guaranteed contracts in basketball, baseball, all that. Are the players going to really look at this situation, and are they going to man up and get these guaranteed contracts? Is that what it's going to be, or what? I'm not sure.
It would change the entire landscape of the sport. I understand what you're saying. All the deals would become shorter. I think it is never going to happen. At no time in the foreseeable future will we see fully guaranteed contracts amongst all NFL players. I'm on your side. I'm on the player's side, but I don't think it's going to happen.
And what it is, though, guys, is we get it. It's 100% injury risk in the NFL. So it's going to happen to you. And that's just the way it is. That's why when you get an opportunity to take it, you might not get every penny, but my goodness, it's hard to turn that down.
And I understand that he is a frustrated, and I have no problem with him being that, but that is a shame. If that's the final image that you have of that guy in that uniform, that's unfortunate. He is still standing by with us here. What can you tell us about the Earl Thomas situation?
Well, there's a lot here, Greeny, to digest. Number one, this is why you see players hold out, to avoid injuries like this where they can't get paid this season. Now Earl Thomas is going to go on IR. He's done for the year, and that brings to a close the Legion of Boom in Seattle, which is no more. Obviously, a tremendous run there. Earl Thomas will be 30 years old after this season. He will be an unrestricted free agent. Obviously, he's planning to move on from Seattle. And it looks like, he's publicly talked about his desire to go play for the Dallas Cowboys. I think that would be a marriage waiting to happen. Earl Thomas and the Dallas Cowboys after the season. But it's not going to be this season. And the Seahawks were hoping to get back a second-round draft pick for him. They had been talking to the Kansas City Chiefs, who had an extra second-round pick thanks to the Marcus Peters trade that they made with the Rams last year. The Chiefs had their own two and the Rams two. And it's possible that the Chiefs and the Seahawks could have worked out a deal for Earl Thomas before the trade deadline 4 weeks from tomorrow. But now he's out for the year. The Seahawks lose their safety. They lose a bargaining chip. They probably lose an extra draft pick. Earl Thomas loses the ability to go get a contract this season. And now it looks like he'll be leaving Seattle after the season, perhaps headed to the Dallas Cowboys.
It's a messy situation all the way around. Shefty, thank you very much. We'll see as the week goes on here. And I want to bring it back over to the table where Rex Ryan is standing by. And it's horrible to see a guy go out like this. But, again, you as a coach were always sort of in the middle, right, between the players and the management. And to see him going out like that with that gesture, which again, we don't know for certain, but certainly is interpreted as being at his bench. To see him going out with that sort of feeling, what makes that? How do you feel when you see that?
Well, I think it's brutal. I mean, I tell you what, this was a disaster for Earl Thomas and a disaster for the Seattle Seahawks. You never want it like this. This is one of your players. This is, how he feels, all that type of stuff. It's a bad image, obviously. And it's such an unfortunate thing, but that's what happens in the NFL. This sport is a brutal sport. It's, mighty men play this sport, but these things happen. It's just unfortunate. But like I say, nobody wins in this case. It's a horrendous situation for the Seahawks and for Earl Thomas.